And then compensation, right? You want to do those bonuses, so get creative. Find ways to motivate your team. They want to know that they're winning. That's why we have that giant scoreboard on there, right? So that way they're like, dude, I'm doing 10K this week. So then the next guy's going to be like, shoot, I want to do 10K next week because he got it. And I'm going to be like, you know, that $250 bonus might be in fives, might be in ones, because I'm going to count them out right in front of everybody else. He got a $250 bonus.
You do it end of the year, like this is the top salesman, top territory manager, they get a cruise or...
I haven't done that. I do want to do that. I haven't done that previously just because we're, you know, haven't been there, I guess you'd say. But last year we did a big company thing, a Christmas party and everything. We gave out bonuses and we did like cool little gifts. And we did, I mean, one year we gave away a 50-inch TV, you know, a Keurig, a cot, and we did that like, what is that called? Secret Santa thing where you pass it around. So that was really fun. So we've done really cool things. Cruise is probably going to be the next thing, you know, where it's like, all right, if you guys get to whatever level it is, you sell $400,000, we're all going on a cruise or something, you know. Get creative with it. But obviously when you're smaller, you're going to do those small little things. And then as you grow, then that thing will get bigger and bigger, right?
I worked for Killingsworth. He had just started just before I left. Like they did it 2 years in a row. But if you were the top salesman or the top technician, your truck did the most or whatever, then you got the Eagle Award. And then the Eagle Award had a special bonus or $500 extra, or you know $1,000 at Christmas time versus everybody else's littler bonuses. You know, so you got first and second place or something. So.
And we do little things like that, like in a month. Sometimes we'll have like the Batman Award or the Superman Award. You know, you call it different things. And then we'll have like Employee of the Month parking space. So they get to park instead of up on the hill, they get to park out front, you know, where the sales vehicles are, so they don't have to walk. And then you can do like the Superman Award, where your technicians, when they come back, they want to be a team. Everybody, you know, you got to be a team player. So when they come back, they finish up their things and another truck comes in and they don't just leave. They help that truck do their end of the day procedures. That way everybody gets out faster, you know, that kind of stuff. We watch that stuff. You know, security cameras are great to see how, you know, all that rolls out at the end of the day. I can't be here all the time. So security cameras are great because I can see what everybody's doing. You know, if they're just, you know, bull crapping out there and not really doing what they're supposed to, you know, or if they're hustling, they're getting things done in the morning. That's what I love to see. And then I'll be like, hey, you know, you guys did awesome, you know, yesterday or something like that. Everybody's on time. I don't want to show up at the time clock sleeping on an air mattress, you know what I mean? So that kind of stuff. But incentives, penalties, there's going to be incentives, but guess what? There's got to be penalties too. So if they mess up a ticket and they don't fill it out right, or they underbid the job, or they didn't add a service, but that guy, you know, the homeowner thinks that we're doing it because they didn't quote the gutter interiors and the exteriors, so he just assumed we were doing the interiors too. Guess what I do? Cross off your name and write house on the ticket, so that 15% commission is no longer yours, it goes to the house. You know, love you. You hear me say that all the time because you got to do your job. I'm not going to babysit you. You know, you dot your I's, you cross your T's. We have a system. You know, if you need to write a checklist down, you could do that. But it's a system, and it gets approved. That's why it goes throughout the office. We're going to talk more about that. But, you know, it comes in, you initial it. You sign that ticket is correct before you turn it in, right? Special instructions got to be filled out. Then it gets approved by my sales director. He goes over all the numbers, make sure it matches. And then he says, is the water pressure test there? You know, is the information correct for the homeowner? Did he get 2 phone numbers? That kind of stuff. But if they don't do that, you got to have penalties. And you got to hurt their pocket, or else it won't matter, unfortunately. And we don't like to do that stuff, but we have to do that stuff because you got to run a tight ship. So you must pay for every hour worked. And that's more like employees. If they're on commission, you got them in commission, you know, it is what it is, right? You get what you pay, what you reap. All right, for sales reps, 15% commission with or without a draw. Weekly and monthly sales goals, give bonuses for exceeding these, and apply penalties for failing to meet the goal. So if they don't get the goal, what's the penalty going to be, right? What's the reward going to be? There's got to be. You got to invite them to play the game. Make it a game, invite them to play the game. That way they know, look, you go to jail, you don't pass go, you don't get a paycheck, right? They got to know how to play the game. Enforce policies. You do not want dishonest sales reps. It's not good all around. You know, if you have a bad apple, you got to get rid of them. It's hard. I don't like letting people go. I don't like confrontation. I get it. I was there. You got to get thick skin and you got to let them go once that happens, because it's going to go downhill real quick. And then if that one's doing it, you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. All right, so how to keep them and how to manage them. So make them feel like they are part of something important. Make them feel like they're part of something big. Guys, we have a lot of stuff going on, right? Our industry as a whole is coming up every year. It's getting really, really cool. So you got to make them feel like they're a part of something. Put their picture on there. You saw on the lead chains. I love putting their picture, their zip codes, their phone number. They want to be a part of your company. Have that company culture that you are bringing these people up with your company. Let them grow with the company. But fun competition. Again, territory managers get paid on what gets done, right? On the truck. So their goal is to book up one truck, $7,500 a week, or two trucks. Excuse me. So Sam Brooks, he's booked up, two trucks in a week one time. But they got a race. So if the trucks aren't getting the work done, what's going to happen?
They don't get paid.
They don't get paid. You're going to have really frustrated territory managers. So as you guys are growing this, you get your first territory manager, you got to have the truck to back up the work, right? So be prepared. If you want to run 3 trucks, how many salespeople do you need? 4. Because you're always going to have the one guy that's the weakest link. So you want to have 4. These 3 guys might be rock stars, and then this one may only, sell $4,000 or $5,000 a week, right? So you got to get them up to speed. Why? And then do a ride-along, If they're down, they're doing $2,500 in a week, hey, let's do a ride-along. Let's figure out what's going on. The system works. The numbers don't lie. If they're out there flyering every day, like say they're flyering in the morning, and then they're doing quotes in the afternoon, the morning afternoon, then they're hitting small commercial in the afternoon, later afternoon, right? That's hustling. This is like a full-time hustle job, right? That's sales. So you got to get out there and do it. And once you start getting the ball rolling, you start doing it, you won't have to do it as much. You do it on the way in, the way out, so it's not like overbearing. But some days, man, I'm like, oh, this week is a little dry. Let me go out on a Saturday and flyer. That way next week on Monday, I'm going to have 5 or 10 calls, right, for leads. So you got to think about this stuff. But you got to race the trucks. That way those guys are getting it done for your territory managers. Let them know you're fighting for them, right? Hey, I got opening. Dispatch will call my territory manager and say, hey, I got an opening on Wednesday afternoon. I need a $500 job in Simpsonville. So I'm going to call my territory manager that's in Simpsonville and say, hey, get out there and flyer. We need another lead. It's on it's Monday, because we always book Monday through Friday. Never book Friday to Monday. Once that day is gone, it's gone for the whole year. That takes away from your end goal, right? So every day you got to book that up. You got to do the productive dispatching. So you're filling up from Monday to Friday. Sometimes we'll even do a dispatch close, Hey, do you got anybody that's in the 9.9 that's like right on the fence? Well, yeah, here's 3-4 tickets, right? Now I'm going to start calling as a sales director. I'm going to start calling through them. Hey, Mrs. Smith, we have an opening for Wednesday. I know it's a little bit short notice, but if I give you $100 off, can we fill that spot? Right? You're losing $100 on the total deal, but guess what? I would rather do a $500 job or a $600 job at the end of the day to fill that day in than having a big fat donut hole, right? Because you're not going to get that job that day back. So I will do that sometimes, and we call it the dispatch close.
Pat, do you assign trucks to territory managers as well, like so that that crew?
No, because you never know where they're at. It's so much moving pieces. So we just book it up. Let's say like Tetris, you know what I mean? Filling in that schedule. So wherever you can put those jobs on, because that truck might be booked up for a whole week, right? And then that territory manager is not going to get paid for the sales that week. It would go on the next week. Then they're like, oh, shoot, what's going on? So then their jobs would get put wherever. We're just booking those trucks up however we can, because you'll have holes if you just do it per truck. Yes, sir?
So with that then, is where your techs are you paying your techs hourly, and it's just like, hey, if you have a short day, you have a short day, or are you trying to make sure they get their hours
when I started, I did hourly, right? But they could only do $3,500 a week, tech-wise. Then I did hourly plus a production bonus, and it was like flipping a switch, right? Then they were able to do $6,000 a week. And then we started tweaking it a little bit. We're like, okay, all right, let's go. So then they started doing $8,000 a week, because they were doing base pay, which was like $12 an hour starting, and then they could get up to 4% production bonus on that. So then they would do a background check with Ask the Seal, they would get 1%. If they passed the 10 hours of training, they would get 1%. And then if they moved from assistant tech to lead tech, they would get 1%, just being 1% for lead tech because they have to manage that truck. And then if they were here for a certain amount of time, they would get another percent. So then they would get 4% on that. So whatever that works out to be.
You're saying 4% of the truck. So if the truck's doing, let's say, $1,000 a day, whatever, just for math,
They get
and then $40.
Yeah, $40 a day. Yep.
But
And
now
that'll
they're-
add up over the week.
Right.
But now their
Can you run
salary,
through that
right?
percent one more time?
What's that?
Can you run through the percent?
Yeah, so if they pass a background check, they get 1%. If they move from assistant to lead tech, they get 1%. So just automatically, if they're lead tech, they get 1%. Then if they do the 10 hours of online training that I have, so they do all the training, they pass the test, they get 1%. And then if they've been here and they're kind of experienced and I can put them on $1 million job, they get 1%. So they would get 4% on that.
Don't you do salary now, though?
We do salary now, yeah. This year we moved everybody to salary. What's that?
So this is how you did it in the past.
Yeah.
Now it's just flat.
So now we know though, you know what I mean? Because we didn't know before. So as we grew, now we know exactly what that truck can do. We have it dialed in now, right? Because we know exactly what that truck can do. We know our dollar per hour. We race the trucks, you know, dollar per hour. So we took all these steps we took. Now we really can dial it in. So now we're like, okay, we don't want turnover every year, right? So now we did salary. So it doesn't matter if we give them 20 hours a week or 50 hours a week, they get the same pay. So what we do though, we're booking that truck up. You know what I mean? They have to get all that production done so it will pay them in the winter. So they're going to be working 50 hours a week, but they're actually going to be getting, say, 40 hours a week paycheck, but that 10 extra hours will go in the bank. So in the wintertime, they still make a paycheck. So that's the way we're doing it this year. So we're actually going to work year round, which normally I like to take January and February off because I like to not think about anything and kind of game plan for the next year and stuff. But we're just going to go ahead and run the trucks and stuff this year and see how that goes. Yeah, whoa, we'll go start here.
What kind of penalty is there for callbacks on your trucks?
So we started with the penalty as they have to work on Saturday. So it's not on my time. My time's Monday through Friday. That's production time. If they have a callback, they have to do it on a Saturday. Or if it's like an emergency, we'll piggyback and put it at the end of the day and they have to work later that day. So, in the back.
And they get paid for the Saturdays or no?
Nope.
Okay.
What is the salary you paid on that?
What's that?
What do you paid on that? You said salary now.
Salary, there's you have a 1-tier, a 2-tier, and a 3-tier. So that varies, but the 1-tier starts out at, I think, $500 a week for a lead tech, and then it works up to like $750 or $800 for the tier 3. And the tier 3 knows everything. So that's the guy that can, you know, manage out-of-town crews and like he's got it down, right? He's been here the longest.
And your tech search salary too, or just your lead?
No, that's a good question. No, assistants are hourly, leads are salary. Yep.
You said that you're moving to the platform where you're going to hold 10 hours in the bank for over the winter.
Mhm.
That extra 10 hours, is that time and a half since legally we're required to pay?
No, not on salary, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's salary, so it's just base pay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I missed that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Cool. But set your expectations. They need to know what you expect. And this goes into the weekly meetings, the weekly sales meetings, you know, all that stuff. You got to set the expectations that they're hitting their milestones. They need to know they're winning every week. That's where you hand out the bonuses on Monday morning, you know what I mean? And say, here, you know, you made $250. And everybody's like, sweet, I need to do that next week, right? But let them know you're keeping tabs on their performance. Let them know you got to follow up. Same with technicians. We're pop inspecting jobs with binoculars in the bushes, you know what I mean? Letting them know. You got to do that kind of stuff. You got to be proactive. Territory managers, you know, pop in. You're calling behind them. Hey, how did Sam do? Oh, he did excellent. How did he do explaining our system and why we're different? You know, you're asking those questions. Why we're different. How we're different. You know, following back on those territory managers. And create opportunities for public attaboys. Everybody loves a public attaboy, right? They love it. You got to bring them up. Do that in the meetings. Make it fun. If you have a company meeting and they're late, we play music and that guy has to dance. Be creative.